Hi, this is Andrew Aversa with Impact Soundworks, and today we're going to be looking at what's new in Super Audio Kart version 1.1. The most notable addition is an entire new system to the library, bringing it up to 8 game systems in total. This one is the FC, released in 1983 in Japan only. Compared to the NES, it was expandable with various different sound chips and a hardware add-on known as the FDS. You can see we sampled a number of waveforms, both from the VRC6, the VRC7, which was an FM chip, and the FDS, which allowed for custom wavetables. Let's check some of the new sounds out. Of course, we've created over 140 new snapshots included with the library. These use both the FC samples as well as some of the other new features which I'm about to go into. Another new feature is the addition of some new modulators in the modulation matrix. In particular, we now have ADSR envelopes which can be used to modulate many parameters. So here we have a sound that has an ADSR envelope modulating sample rate. This can be changed to trigger on the first note or on every note. So for example, that's without the retrigger, and here's with. You can of course change the timing values too. For all sorts of fun sound design effects. We have a new patch included with the library called the one layer patch. This is very useful if you're only doing authentic sounds and you just want to edit one layer at a time. It loads faster because it only loads 1/4 of the total samples in the library. Looking at the Sound tab, we have some new editing features for advanced users. For example, we have the note length knob. This sets an absolute length for each note you play that's independent from the volume envelope. This is very useful when you're making drums. For example, here I have an NES kick drum made using a triangle and the pitch envelope. We can do that at different pitches. But here's what it sounds like without this feature. Even though the volume envelope is processing the sound, we want the sound to hold for a certain number of milliseconds. So with the note length knob, you can set it to any value up to 500 milliseconds. Another new feature is velocity range, which allows you to change how each layer is triggered based on what velocity is played. For example, here I have set each layer to a separate velocity range. Let's hear what that sounds like. With this feature, you can create multi-sampled sounds. For example, you could have one waveform come in at all velocities, and then another one, for example, a stab or a percussive sound, come in only at the upper velocities. Now, while it's not something you can hear, we've done some major optimizations to the library by unloading any convolution reverbs that aren't being used. That means for any authentic patches, for example, that don't use any reverbs, you can expect a RAM saving of over 80 megabytes for each instance that you use. We've also created effects rack presets, which can be saved, loaded, and cleared on a per layer basis or on all layers at once. Related to this, we also have the effects rack lock. So let's say we have a nice pad sound with lots of effects. And now let's say we want to use these same effects on another sound. We'll hit the lock button and then load up a separate snapshot. Now we have what would normally be a very plain sound, the 2600 lead. But now it has effects from that patch before. This works on all layers as well. Another bonus for advanced users is the ability to create some key switches in the modulation matrix. So in this patch, we have a simple layered sound. But if we hit C-1, and this of course can be changed, it'll trigger the arpeggiator for all layers. And we can turn that back off by hitting the same key switch. You can also change effects toggles on and off. This one is set to not latch, which means the key must be held for this to work. So I'll play a note with the arpeggiator on. And there I was triggering the bit crusher on and off using the Keyswitch D-1. This is great for live performance, and combined with some of the other new things that we've added, such as modulation based on CC range, velocity range, and key range, you can create all sorts of new performance setups. Besides these major new features, we've also made some minor tweaks and additions which you can see in the changelog. Super Audio Kart version 1.1 will be available to all users on July 20th, 2016 for free. Going forward, if you don't already have the library, you'll get this expansion and all of its content included. Once again, I hope you enjoy using Super Audio Kart both for retro music and new music, and I'll see you next time.